Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing a little sketchbook tour of my latest sketchbook. I started this in February of 2025, so it's been a few months and I've just finished the last drawing, so I wanted to take you through it today. So this is a Moleskine sketchbook. It's a sketchbook I use all the time. It's the Artbook 21 by 13 centimeters. The paper is quite thick, it's also quite smooth, and it's got a slightly creamy colour. It pairs really well with a Blackwing matte pencil, which is what I use for the majority of these drawings. So the first drawing is a study. I do lots of studies of masterworks, so you'll see quite a few of these throughout the sketchbook. This one is a study of the James Draper drawing I did in May. This sketch was from holiday. I was trying to draw a boat. It's quite difficult to draw. I don't really draw a lot of landscapes, so I do struggle with them. It just doesn't have quite the same effect. I think it's something I really need to practice. This one here is a study. It's a photograph I found on Pinterest. I've not been able to identify the reference. So a couple more. I use Pinterest a lot. I can link my Pinterest board. We like doing pictures from TV shows. These ones I think are publicity shots from period dramas. Matthew Good, I'm not too sure who this guy is. This one here is a masterwork. This is a charcoal J.S. Sargent. Got a link to that one. I think I recorded this one. So yeah, this was just a charcoal pencil. You can see I did actually spray it to fix it, but it still transferred over a little bit. So some hand drawings. Throughout the book, I like to practice hand drawings every week or so. I think it's just something that is good to practice, and there's nothing that lets a drawing down more, I think, sometimes, or a portrait down more than having the hands right. So I think it's one thing to practice, and I always notice when an artist is either really good at hands or hands is their weak point. For me, I find it really obvious. I don't know if it's just because I'm hyper fixated on it. So I take my sketchbook with me wherever I go. I've got it, it's quite small, so it's really handy, and with the elastic it stays in place. I've also got a little wallet that I have a few pencils in, so I do try and, whenever I'm kind of sitting on a train or I've got, some spare time, I do try and get my book out and do some drawing. So this is some drawing from life of some people on the train. I had a train cancelled, which was really annoying. Photo study. Here was kind of mucking around. I'm just doing painting of one of my friends, so just kind of playing around with composition. Looks like I was on my way to London here. Yeah, this is Helen. So this is the lady I'm doing the painting of. This is a study of a painting by Nick Golm. I love him. He's a great artist. Go check him out. It's a painting of another artist called Teresa Saka, who's also a great artist. But yeah, it's a beautiful painting. Another painting study. These are some drawings from life. This one's my dad. This one is my husband. Another one that I did for a YouTube video, I will link it. This is Lady with a Rose. A couple more of my dad. Drawing from life is really challenging. It's one thing you've kind of got to practice, I think, and especially when people are moving a lot. So it's one thing drawing someone who's just sitting very still for you, or something different drawing someone who's kind of moving around. I think that's why it's quite good to practice in things like coffee shops or trains and things, or public spaces, because you get kind of practice at doing this. I think in terms of the benefit, it really helps you speed up, so you can become a lot more efficient at drawing. This is my husband and my son. So drawings of both of them throughout. This one I really loved. This is Peter Capaldi as Lord Sesamo Frey from The Musketeers. Sometimes these drawings go well, sometimes they're not so good. This one went better. This is one I did at swimming, so this is from March. My daughter. Kids are quite difficult because they move quite a lot, so sometimes I'll take a photograph if one of my kids is in a really good pose. I'll take a photograph of them so I can finish it off. Sometimes I just try and, as best as I can, capture it. I always find those ones where I'm just trying my best a little bit disappointing because it doesn't always look like them. It's quite easy to get the likeness off, but it's just good practice. Russell Tovey, Vanished. This one was a random Pinterest picture I couldn't find the reference for. Another reference picture from a costume drama. This is John Hurt. Couple of quick sketches. We'll try to do some gesture drawings here, but after some discussion with one of my viewers around life drawing, so that was quite good practice. My son, he sits a bit still. He's quite good at sitting still, so this was him drawing. And this is my daughter. I think this was on photo reference. Not quite right. I can see there's a bit too much space here, but yeah. Every time I do a new hairdo for her, she wants me to take a photograph of it so she can see it. So that's where that one came from. This is my mum watching my son swimming. Robert Pattinson from one of my videos. This is a famous artist whose name completely escapes me. Another drawing of my husband on his phone. Phone. There we go. Sometimes I like to kind of know what I'm doing because it just really reminds me of a certain space and time. So it's quite nice. I think our lives are so busy that you just lose track of what's happening, and sometimes it seems that time goes really quickly, especially when you have a lot on your plate. So writing things down and kind of trying to capture a moment really helps me remember times that I would have otherwise forgotten. This was a portrait of Antoinetta Negroni by Pran. Rossini as a Child by Francisco Hayes. Yeah, beautiful painting, that one. 40 minutes on the train. This is my son. I can tell I've done this from life without any reference photos because it's not quite, kind of struggling with his profile. Drawings of hands. Just love drawing hands. My husband again. This one says I was doing it at the climbing centre. Interesting. I do a lot of climbing, so that's one of the places I like to hang out. This is a master study. Here's Velasquez. Quick sketch from a photo reference. Sketch of Rachel Weisz. You can see some of these I've only sort of spent 5-10 minutes on. They're quite quick. Other ones I've spent longer on. This drawing here has to be a beautiful painting. A lot of dark, so you can see there is some transfer. Sometimes I will spray a little bit of fixative on the portrait so that it sort of stays in place, but it kind of depends. Sometimes I don't. I either leave it as it is and just see what happens. But there's a bit of transfer, but it's not too bad. Having the elastic keeps everything in place quite well. This was from a live painting session, Mary. So 40 minutes. Some more hand drawings. I actually recorded this for a video and I really need to edit it and put it online, but I've not done it yet. I will try and get around to it. I was just writing down some tips and hints around how I draw hands. There's lots of different ways to draw hands. Everyone has their own version of it, but this was kind of my take on how I draw hands. Same with eyes, mouth. I think drawing features is an interesting one. I see a tendency for people to over focus on it. Like a lot of people will post like a hyper realistic drawing or painting of an eye, which I think is always interesting, but for me it's one part of the story. Someone's face is the whole story. Like you need the whole thing to really understand what you're looking at. So I do like not to focus on individual features too much. I think that's quite dangerous. If you draw a beautiful mouth and a beautiful eye and a beautiful nose, but then all in the right place, it's just going to look a bit like a mess. So I do tend not to hone in on one particular feature too much. But sometimes practicing a feature, especially if it's a weakness and really understanding the structure, can help, I would say in general, just like I do with drawing hands. So it's a bit of a tricky one, how much to focus on something specific and how much to just work on general practice. Another period drama, this is Carrie Mulligan from Northanger Abbey. This is a Boogaroo. I did record this one, so I'll include a link. Let's see if there's enough glare. Sometimes I get some glare because graphite is kind of a shiny material, so if the light's in the wrong place, it just really bounces off onto the camera quite poorly, but hopefully you can see that quite well. If not, then follow the link to the video. I was exhibiting in the RP, so this is the Royal Portrait Awards. It's an annual exhibition in the UK, in London, at the Mall Galleries. It's the top portrait artists. You basically put your artwork in and they select I would say 50 or so pieces to go in the exhibition. So yeah, this was a bit of a unreal moment for me to go in there. And my son at the airport. I really like this one. I like the way I caught his ears. This is, I put 2 pieces in, one got rejected. So the only problem with it is you put it in and then they want you to actually submit the artwork in person. So I had to go all the way to London to submit the artwork, of which had 2 pieces. One got rejected, so I had to go all the way back to London again to pick up the one that was rejected. And then I had to go all the way back to London again to go to the opening, and then I had to go all the way back to London again to get the piece of artwork when the exhibition was finished. So I think it's a real investment in terms of time and effort to do these things. Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'd do it again. Maybe I would, I'm not sure, but yes, it was a bit of a hassle. I don't live in London, so it's a bit of a trek. This was the National Portrait Gallery. They've got some beautiful artworks. John Singer Sargent painting of Henrietta Franklin. More hands. This is when I went with my family to see the exhibition. Really hot day. My daughter is looking at the train, and I've just got some other sketches that I've done sort of whilst hanging around. Portrait study of De Laszlo's. Daughter at a coffee shop. This is went to Comic-Con with my son, so just took a little sketch of him putting together a model. Kids' hands. Yeah, I really like those. This is at the airport going on holiday. Going to Skiathos, which is an island in Greece. So just lots of sketches on holiday. Actually, it was quite a nice opportunity to get drawing. My daughter and son were obsessed with Minecraft, so there was a lot of Minecraft songs going on. This is a drawing of my daughter at her ballet show. It was actually from a photo reference. Patatiri, this is Lonsos in Greece. So I drew a tree. This is my kids on the beach. You can see I need to work on these ones. Practice. Sargent. This is some life drawing of people kind of in bars on the beach. I was just staring at these guys for ages. There was someone sitting on the ground and there was a guy standing up with a beer in his hand. And they just had a really weird dynamic going. So I was just kind of sketching away, trying not to look like a right weirdo. A drawing of Richard Harrington from Poldark. This is some more drawings of these are a bunch of locals that were sitting in one of the cafes. Yeah, really fascinating faces to draw. But I think they were getting suspicious because I was staring at them. So I was trying to be subtle, which doesn't always work. This is a study of Sargent's painting of Sicilian peasants, beautiful painting. Practicing expressions. This is just some expression references that I found on Pinterest, 5 minutes each. I did the same for my daughter as well, from a bunch of photographs, trying to catch her expressions. Some more successful than others. This was from a painting session. Every couple of weeks I try to go to a painting session in the local pub where we paint from life. So I obviously got a bit bored of whatever else I was drawing or painting and decided to draw the other artists. This is another painting study, Bridget von Ameling. Didn't get it quite right, something wrong about the nose and the eyes. This was a paint-off competition, so I went along to the Cotswolds and did a competition where I painted a painting from life and actually won it. And it turned out really well. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do, so it's always nice when they turn out well. And I managed to sell the painting to the model, which was great. More hands. This is a study of Jackie L. Haley as a Wasatch. I went to Kenwood House. They had an exhibition on of Sargent's paintings and sketches, so that was a really great opportunity to go along and look at them. And I did this one. The only problem was the room was quite dark, so I couldn't really see what I was doing. But yeah, it was fun. A drawing of my husband. His family live in Yorkshire, so I managed to sneak away and had some time together, which was nice. It was a really hot day and there were some people playing cricket over the hill there, and they had some sofas outside, which was quite nice novelty. But yeah, we just sat there and had a drink and I drew him, which was nice. Another Sargent charcoal study. drawing with my daughter. This one actually turned out really well. Something about her mouth I really like. Hands, small hands, so many hands. My daughter again, this was from life. Didn't take photographs, so you can see it's not quite right still, and they're a bit messier because she moves a lot, even when she's sitting and watching her iPad, which is what she was doing here. It's a photo study I did, but it didn't really turn out that well, so this was in a coffee shop. I was just trying to draw the mug cup. Yeah, trying to introduce some straight lines to get the dimensions right. I think my brain wasn't functioning properly that day, so it was kind of, the perspective was kind of confusing me a little bit, but it was a fun exercise. This one I tried to get in a bit more kind of softness, like rather than my really like strong hatchy style, so I tried something a little bit different. And I kind of like the way it turned out. Just kind of another photo study of a publicity shot from a period drama there. So I don't know why, I just really like to draw them. They usually have really good lighting and interesting clothes and interesting expression, because I think actors try and put across the impression of the character they're playing. So usually has quite a lot of focus in the photos and a lot of personality, even if it's quite subtle. So quite like those kind of drawings to draw. Quick sketches on my kids again. This, I was trying to draw Kevin Durant, but it was a really great photo reference, but just didn't quite come out right. But this is another quick couple of sketches of my brother and my daughter. I actually sacrificed this piece of paper to my son to entertain him. He was bored. There's Oliver Huntington as a gripper. Yeah, this was a cool picture to draw here. I don't know if I got his likeness quite right, but I kind of feel like I got something with expression. More hands. This was my son. I was drawing him on the train to London. We were going to a Minecraft adventure. He stood very still for me on a very wobbly train while I drew him, which was nice. A couple of this was a study of sergeants. It was a bit messy and quick. And then I had a reference photo and I tried to kind of sort of follow the same style. This literally took about 5 or 10 minutes though, so it's a bit of a messy one, and I don't think I got it quite right. These are some quick thumbnails. I'm doing October, so I'm just kind of planning out a few ideas. This is a study from a chat from Poldark. I know it's from Poldark because of the comments on Pinterest, but I didn't take the time to track down the actor, which I usually do try and do. If you don't have, Pinterest is a bit rubbish because it doesn't always have the details, but you can reverse image search it often and then find out who that actor is in the show if you don't have that data. And then, oh my goodness, I've completely forgotten this actress's name. She was in James Bond and played the love interest, but I've forgotten her name. Yes, that's the last one in the book. That was a quick sketch. And I like the way it turned out. Her hair's quite rough, but her face is quite smooth, so it's quite nice. And then this piece of paper I sacrificed to my son, I think probably, or maybe even my daughter, just to entertain them. And that's it. So yeah, so this was a good sketchbook. I've got a few really good drawings in here. It's interesting comparing sketchbooks to others. Like in the past, I go through phases of liking to do different things, which is quite fun. It's a good way to keep track of everything, really. Who knows what my next sketchbook will be all about, but February, March, May, June, July, August. So this one's taken me about 7 months to complete, which I guess means my next one will be finished sometime early 2026. So I hope you enjoyed this quick tour of my sketchbook. I look forward to catching you in the next video. Bye!